Hello, everyone. I am Olivia Vanderford, the host of the Engler Journey podcast. And today we're in this beautiful space. We're in the Tractor Museum right here on East Campus. And this museum was started in 1919. And I'm here with Treaven Scheideler, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's so nice to have you here today to talk about this beautiful museum. I know you've been the president of the Tractor Restoration
Yes,
Club.
I was my junior year of college.
Could you tell us a little bit about that and why you love tractors?
Yeah, so mainly the reason why I kind of got involved with Tractor Restoration Club is because of my siblings and my family. All of my siblings that went to UNL, and two of my siblings actually joined Tractor Restoration Club when they were here, and that kind of got me first interested, along with being a mech systems major. It just kind of fit well. We meet every Thursdays at 6 o'clock, and so I've just always kind of had that free time to be able to come. And being from a farm, it's been one of my passions is just tractors and everything. And I always remember riding with my dad when I was growing up, driving tractors and everything else. And so tractors just kind of have a special place, and I love working on them. Another thing is history has a special place in my heart. So when you put them together, of course, I'm going to end up in a museum.
Very cool. Yeah, and you can just look right at me. Perfect. So for talking about tractors, you're from a farm. Are you a red tractor guy, a green tractor guy? I know that's kind of a debate, across the Midwest. So what's been your favorite, and what's been maybe one of your favorite tractors to restore?
Yeah, so I've always been around red tractors and even orange, so Case International tractors have just always had a special place in my heart. And I also like the color red, so it just kind of fits.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And what's been one of your favorite tractors you've been able to restore in the restoration club?
Yeah, so it's been a 460 Farmall. When I showed up freshman year, there was one all tore apart, and so I actually was a part of the whole process of putting it back together, and I'm the one who did a majority work of the painting and everything else. So it's just kind of special, and it sits here in the museum today. It's one of the tractors that I've always driven in the parade on city campus for homecoming.
Oh, very cool. So what is that like, going over to East Campus for the homecoming parade? What do you love about kind of showing the history of agriculture in Nebraska?
Yeah, it's always been a hit over there. We normally take around over 10 tractors, it seems like, in the past few years, and we just drive them over. So could you imagine going through stoplights, going through downtown Lincoln with 13 tractors or better, and then getting to drive through the homecoming parade? It's just always a big hit. It's always a good experience for the members, and it's really an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, I always see those tractors going by for homecoming, and I can't believe, that you can take all those tractors over there to celebrate Nebraska agriculture, because it's such a big, important part of our state. So could you tell me more about the Restoration Club? What's the process? What do the students do? Does everybody work together on one tractor? And how can people bring in a tractor?
Yeah, so the main thing is we work Thursdays at 6 o'clock, but then it seems like nowadays members have a lot more free time and everything, and so they want to work multiple days. And so we have our sets of keys that we're able to get in the museum anytime and work on many projects. We actually have 3 going on right now at the same time. It just seems like whatever, we're kind of waiting on parts, and so if we don't have parts for one tractor, then we work on a different one, just kind of depending on everything else. And then we try to paint all at the same time, because painting takes a long process too. But those are the main things. And then one of the things I want to point out is the donation aspect of the museum. We're a nonprofit organization, and so we accept lots of donations and tractors donated to us. Then we can either restore and put into the museum, or we can resell just to maintain the museum's profits and everything else to keep it going and last forever.
Yeah, so if people want to come in and see the tractors, when can they do that? And are all the tractors in here mainly from the Restoration Club? Some of them? What's that?
Yeah, so some of the original ones came from UNL through the testing, and then they just got kind of moved into this museum and left. And then some, there's a Friends organization that they actually helped kind of maintain the museum along with the UNL. And so a lot of tractors that they purchased and they put in the museum just to build it up and make it feel like a really cool space for people to come and visit. And the hours are Tuesday through Saturday, and Saturdays just till noon. So yeah, you come in, and then also on Thursday at 6 o'clock, if anybody wants to come see what we're doing and stuff, we're always welcome, and people always kind of just come up and show up, and we're able to walk them through what we all do, and it's pretty cool for them to see.
Yeah, do you have a favorite memory of walking some people through? And what were their maybe favorite parts of the museum, those types of things?
Yeah, I mean, it's That one's more of a tough question. But just seeing their faces when they go through the museum and seeing how, wow, this is a lot of tractors. And then a big hit is the test car, Nebraska tractor, the old original test car. And so it's been modified a few times over the years, but we still have it in the museum. And that's something that's special to this place that nobody else really has. And so when people see it, they're just like astonished by what it looks like, and that, you know, the tractors were tested with it back in the day when you compare it to the new test car that we have now.
Yeah, so when you talk about the test car, are you talking about a tractor, or is it something that helps the tractors move, or what?
Yeah, so the test car is what the tractors pulls on the test track, and that actually determines how many horsepower the tractor will go. And so it goes through a series of different tests. And so when the tractor goes and gets pulled, it measures torque and everything else of the wheels and wheel slippage and all this different data that's then compiled, and then they do the math and figure out, you know, the horsepower rating of the tractor. And then there's also PTO tests and all kinds. And so that stems from back in 1919 when a farmer bought a tractor that wasn't performing like they said. Well, he went to, I believe he was actually a senator that then introduced a bill to pass the Nebraska test law. So after that, then the museum or not the museum, then the test facility was built on UNL. And there's actually only two in the world, one in Germany and then one here that can test. And so any tractor sold in Nebraska has to be tested on this facility to be able to be sold.
Wow. So it's really a special place, really a unique place. Mm-hmm. And I know I have so many memories of tractors being on my grandparents' farm, driving in the tractor. And it just is really an integral part of Nebraska agriculture, these tractors that really get all the work done and help the farmers get their work done. So I've loved learning more about the history of this museum and the work you've done with tractor restoration. Now I kind of want to talk about your Engler experience and what your business is. Could you tell us about your business? Because I know it's very unique.
Yes. So my business, Sandhills Biochar, is something I'm actually going to start. I've been working on throughout my whole college career, but I'm going to start here as soon as I graduate. I'm actually going to buy a piece of equipment to do it. But so what I actually do is I actually turn cedar trees into a product called biochar. Now, biochar is exactly like charcoal that you grill with, but biochar is specifically made from waste materials. And one being cedar trees a waste, you really don't want to cook with it, of course.
Yeah.
And so you actually turn that into biochar, and then biochar is a soil amendment. And so soil amendment is not necessarily a fertilizer, but it can really go towards fields and soil to build organic matter. And there's a whole lot of science behind it, and I don't need to probably get too far in depth because I could get lost in the weeds when it comes to biochar for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But I think that's really cool, using something that is kind of invasive, kind of a waste material, and making it into something beneficial for the crops. And you said that really helps the soil, right?
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of other uses, but the soil amendment is the main use right now because biochar has a lot of tiny little pores. And what it does is it acts as a sponge for water infiltration and nutrients. So it just locks in the soil. And so the idea is if you have a really high productive ground, you don't need the biochar because it's already high enough in organic matter, above 5%. If it's below 5%, biochar can really help. If it's super sandy soil, it can really help to build that soil for water retention and nutrient retention so those don't leach back into the groundwater.
Yeah, and so for farmers, when they're using this biochar, how many times do they have to apply it to their dirt, to their soil?
Yeah, so it's a one-time use or one-time application. So it's a really heavy upfront cost, but once you have it applied and you apply enough of it, then it'll last thousands of years. It actually stems from South America when old natives were using biochar in their fields to build up their own ground. Well, till this day, you can still see the black mounds where they're actually producing the biochar. So once it's in the soil, it lasts thousands of years.
That's really interesting. And that's really cool that you can just do it once in one time.
Yeah.
And then it benefits the soil.
If you do it once and incorporate it in your soil, it really benefits for over your generation for sure.
Wow, that's amazing. And how did you get started in this? How did you discover biochar and that this could be something you could do?
Yeah, so this stems actually from a senior project in high school. I did a physics project where I actually created biochar. My ag teacher kind of found out about this and kind of put a bug in my ear. And then I'm like, well, this is actually really interesting. So I made a little kiln to produce biochar and then kind of showed that off. And then I didn't really know if there was a business opportunity for it until I got to college and got involved with the Engler program. And they really pushed me to try to, see what could be possible with this biochar.
Yeah, so I know you said that the Engler program has really been integral to your experience here at UNL, and there was one class that you took, the Enterprise Studios, right?
Yeah. So it was a build camp, and then it turned into Enterprise
Okay.
Studio. Yeah. So most of the kids in Engler take normal classes, and then go through their career. Well, I was a little different. Brennan Costello thought my business kind of fit with this build camp program, to where I would actually, instead of taking classes, I would do this cohort meeting type of system where bi-weekly we would meet as a cohort and talk about our business. And then another week we would meet with a mentor. And then that would actually help us have the time to work on our business and build our business instead of having to go to class and all that. So it really gave me a lot more time to be able to build something and prove the concept, basically.
Yeah, definitely. And have you had any really good mentors that have helped you with this process, either in the Engler program or just somewhere on camp?
Yeah, I've had many. The two in the Engler program were Brennan Costello, which now he's gone, but he was very, very special, and he's kind of what pushed me. And then Dave Lamb, he's also one. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know. He's kind of the one that got me introduced into this idea. He seen my pitch and then decided, well, you actually have an idea, so you need to do something with it. So David Lamb, and then David Bailey, he's a mentor that I had through this program that Engler offers, and he's been a big help to Engler, to many, many people. And then also Caleb Pollard, which is George Valley County Economic Development. And he's been really, really special to help me succeed.
Yes, I know everybody loves Dave. So,
Yes.
So that's very good. And so talking about the Engler program more, I know you said you did the pitch competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that experience like?
Yeah, so when I was a sophomore, I decided to do a pitch competition, which was just a small little 3-minute pitch. And I pitched my idea, and it was just basically biochar, mixing it with chicken manure to create a organic fertilizer and sell it. I didn't know much more than that. Well, the judges loved it, and so I ended up placing second. And then that kind of got me introduced into some more people that said, well, you need to do something with this. And so that's got me more interested in biochar. And then I'm like, well, cedar trees are a big problem. So why don't I turn cedar trees into a profit by turning it to biochar and then going from there? So it's been kind of navigating whether or not I would be a manufacturer of equipment to produce biochar, because there's not a lot of equipment out there, or if I just produce biochar. And then there's also like, okay, I can get in the retail side of biochar versus the wholesale quantity. Well, now I found out that the wholesale quantity makes more sense and everything. And so that's it's just a lot when it comes to business management, and try to figure out and try to risk mitigate before you spend that money to get started. You need to make sure you have all the checklists down that this will work, or at least you're comfortable with it.
You told me that you were able to go down to El Salvador, right? And you were able to work with people and show them how to work a tractor, right? How did you get that experience?
Yeah, so actually I went to a national range conference and met a guy called Jack Alexander. And he actually did some work down there for a soil scientist and kind of helped them understand the soil properties a little bit better. And so just talking with him, just kind of met him once. Well, then it wasn't too long after, and he was down for a conference with El Salvadorians, and he went through the tractor museum, and I was painting out behind and talking to him again, met him again, and he's like, well, I do have a proposition for you, and it was to go do a training down in El Salvador to teach a tractor training seminar for a group of different individuals on a new tractor that was donated down there. And so being a college student and being able to take spring break off, I decided, well, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And they really wanted somebody who wasn't just a technician, who understood more the farming aspect and the day-to-day operations of the tractor, rather than just understanding the maintenance and kind of the nitty-gritty details. And so I think I was a big help when I went down there. They really enjoyed my time and what I could teach them and different things. And I still have their contact, and it still sounds like they're doing really great stuff down there, because what they do is they actually are a training center, and then they teach other farmers in the area. And so I taught the training center how to run this equipment, and then they teach other farmers in the area. So it's kind of a two-way deal.
Very cool. So you're really making a lasting impact on so many lives that are just working and trying to be farmers and learn about the new equipment, those types of things.
Yeah, ag is all around the world, and we all relate. And and it's just a pretty special deal. And that's one of the highlights to my life for sure, is to be able to say I went down there and I did that, because it was just being in the right place at the right time and making a connection that you never knew. And so, yeah, I just want to point that out to a lot of different people, that conferences and just going to college and meeting people is really important, because you never know where it might take you.
Yeah, and really give you the opportunity to give back. Yeah.
Exactly.
So talking about biochar again, what is kind of the process of creating it, and what are maybe some challenges with doing it?
Yeah, so biochar is made through the pyrolysis, which is to burn in a low oxygen environment. And that's made from any biomass. So basically, you take any biomass and put it in a barrel, and then heat that barrel up without oxygen inside, and you create a carbon-based biochar instead of it burning to ash. And so it combusts in a different chemical way to where it won't turn to ash, and you create a carbon-based product at the end. And so that's what's left is the carbon. And so that's how you're actually able to sequester carbon from the air, because instead of burning piles of cedar trees and that smoke, CO2 gets released into the atmosphere. All that CO2 and carbon is harnessed in that product that then you apply back to the ground. And so you really sequester carbon when you do this.
Yeah. So there's quite a bit of science that goes into it.
Yes, there's a lot of science.
Yeah, which I think is really interesting. And the process that really goes into making this biochar. So was there any challenges, any problems that goes along with maybe you creating this biochar?
I would say the biggest challenge is just the labor side of things. To make it profitable, it takes quite a bit of labor to try to navigate and try to, remove the cedar trees and then turn them into biochar. And so that's been kind of my biggest stress point, is just trying to figure out how to do it the cheapest way, so that way I can provide a cheap product that farmers can apply on their fields, because that's at the end of the day sustainability. I want to be able to be affordable for farmers. And so I want to be able to make it as cheap as I can, and labor is just one of those things that's just hard to find, and hard to find good help, and it's just expensive at the end of the day.
Yeah. So if people want to buy this biochar from you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so once I start up, I will have a website going and socials, and so they can contact me if they want biochar for different landscaping projects or gardens. One point is, if you do use biochar, you have to inoculate it first, unless it's a product that's already inoculated, because what it'll do is, if you apply it to your garden, it'll actually suck all the nutrients, and it won't make them available to the plant until after so long, and so that'll actually kill the plants off. And so you have to inoculate it with either manure or another type of compost. And so then that fills up those pores and it soaks up the biochar. And then when you apply it, then it slowly releases over time. And so that's just another point out. I don't want people just to go thinking it's the all fix all. It's another tool in your belt when it comes to the garden. But don't just go and apply biochar in their garden or lawn or whatever else.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is such an amazing business. I love learning the ins and outs of how this all works. And talking about the Engler program again, who have been some of the, or what have been some of your favorite memories from the program, whether that's experiences or just being in the program, talking to certain people? What have been some of your favorite memories?
Yeah, it's honestly been the mentorship of just different people in the program, and fireside chat, which has been super helpful, because you get to meet with a bunch of different people and get a bunch of different input. And I would just say that that's been the best experience ever, because you can't get that in any other circumstance where you're getting introduced to that many people and that circumstance and everything else. So it's just really interesting.
Yeah. So talking about maybe students that are maybe interested in the Engler program, what is some of the best advice you'd give to them when they're maybe nervous about maybe just taking that first step and starting a business?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend the Engler program for somebody who isn't in business and who does have an established business, because you can get a lot of value if you don't have a business. And if you're kind of on the edge of wanting to start a business, the Engler program is perfect to push you to take that to that next step and get a business started, and make you help you feel comfortable about starting it and putting yourself out there. One of the biggest mottos is fail fast and fail forward, and so that's just one of those things that Engler instills in you.
Yeah, I love that motto, because if you never try, you'll never know.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You'll never discover maybe something that could be a lifelong career, right? Yeah, so that's why I love the Engler program, and so many students do. And so talking about Engler, 20 years from now, what are you going to be most thankful for being in the Engler program?
Again, just the mentorship of everybody.
And Dave Lamb, of course, I'll remember.
Oh, everybody loves Dave.
Yeah, everybody loves Dave. And honestly, I owe my success to Dave and Brennan, other than my family, of course. I got to point them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dave and Brennan, they're the ones that pushed me to succeed, and I hope that I can make a pretty long-lasting impact on other people like they did for me.
Yes. And if you were to pick a movie or a book or some kind of song that relates to the Engler program and your experience in the program, what would it be?
I would pick Good Will Hunting, just because, it's not necessarily how smart you are, it's about people you meet and about the mentorship. And I think Engler really hits that home, is the mentor side of everything and how that really help you succeed in life. And it just gives you kind of a sense of direction to go a lot of times, is that's what people need. They don't know exactly what to do. Well, the Engler program will kind of tell you which direction you should head.
Yeah, and I don't know, did you ever get the chance to meet Paul Engler?
I did not.
You didn't?
I did
Okay.
not.
But anyway, what would you still say about his impact on this program and the lasting impact on so many lives? What are you so thankful for Paul Engler just giving this program to us?
Yeah, I just honestly can't believe that he did that clear back in the day, and he really put his mind to it and decided that this is what I'm going to do. And so I'm just very thankful for it, because it's really made an impact on my life and my family's life. And I just hope I can do a little part for myself in the future, just like him.
Yes, I love it. I love it so much. I love hearing more about your story. And if you were to pick any kind of tractor in here, or maybe one you've worked on, what would be one that you would want to ride away on after your time here in the university?
Probably the 460.
The 460, like we talked
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yes. And did you work on that one? Or?
Yes, I did
Okay.
the whole process. Besides tearing it apart, I didn't tear it apart. I put it all back together.
Did you name the tractor?
I did not. It's just the 460.
Maybe something to do in the future. And give it a name, and maybe they'll give you the tractor.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I've loved hearing more about your story, Treaven, and I can't wait to see all that you'll do with your business in the future.
Yeah, thank you for the time.
Yes.